Back live in New York. We've come a long way in 75 years, folks. Happy anniversary to the Wright brothers. Winds gusting up to 30 miles an hour this afternoon in New York. And we link up 3 football games. Let's get you the scores right now. Dallas leading the Jets at Dusty Shea Stadium. 10-0 is the count at halftime. Some of you are watching this game. New Orleans and Tampa Bay are tied at 3 at the half. Many of you folks are watching the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles needing a win to get into the playoffs, and the score is 13-3 at the half. Detroit 13, San Francisco 7, and how about the Lions' improvement under Monty Clark? Cleveland has just fallen behind Cincinnati. Anderson hit Bass, that talented tight end who burned the Rams last Monday night, and Atlanta and St. Louis are scoreless in the first. Buffalo and Baltimore are underway. They also are scoreless in the first quarter. There's a story about Chuck Fairbanks, the New England Patriots, and the possibility of him on the move. I find it very hard to believe, but Greek, what's the details there?
The move supposedly is back to Colorado U. You know, he used to coach in the Big 8. But what happened is that he and Crowder are very good friends, and he says, what you should do, Fairbanks, is come back and coach at Colorado. A couple papers picked it up, and believe it or not, a construction company who's building the country club made a decent offer on top of what he would get from the college. So all of a sudden, he's considering it, they say.
Nothing else.
I got it. Plus the fact he's got a 4-year contract.
He'll get more bucks, if nothing else, for the Patriots, right?
You know, Jimmy, it's been a banner year in the National Football League this year for the rookies, with maybe the best crop entering the league in a decade. One is a leading rusher, and the other has scored the most points, and yet another has gotten to the quarterback more than anybody else in the NFL. So NFL Today put together its all-rookie team for the class of 1978, and Brent paid them this tribute.
At quarterback, the top newcomer is Doug Williams of Tampa Bay. Until he suffered a broken jaw 6 weeks ago, Williams was leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of the doldrums. He stands 6'4", and he can easily spot a receiver downfield. He has thrown 6 touchdown passes for John McKay this year. The 2 top running backs, Earl Campbell of Houston and Terry Miller of Buffalo. Campbell, the former Heisman Trophy winner out of Texas. This was Monday night against Miami, and Campbell turned the corner and caught a jet stream, racing 81 yards for a touchdown as he climaxed a 4-touchdown evening performance. He's the leading rusher in the National Football League, but Terry Miller may be the most improved in the second half of the season. Here he is going 41 yards for a score against the New York Giants. He is among the top in the AFC. This was billed as the year of the receiver for newcomers, and these 3 did not disappoint. James Lofton, drafted #1 by Green Bay. He is 6'3", weighs 187, out of Stanford. He's one of the quickest newcomers in the NFL this year. He caught 41 passes for 726 yards. This is John Jefferson on Monday night. Danny Fouts of San Diego throwing deep, and Jefferson again burns the Chicago Bears for an easy touchdown. The outside receiver who is improving quickly. Archie Manning's threat, Wes Chandler of the New Orleans Saints. Watch the screen pass as Chandler turns it on against the San Francisco 49ers. With a beautiful spin move, he goes in for the score. Chandler is only 5'11", weighs 185, and he's always a threat to return kickoffs, too. Speaking of return men, a former teammate of Chandler's out of Florida, Tony Green, was the top man on punts and kickoffs. Watch Green bobble this punt by the Philadelphia Eagles. Then regain his composure, beat the first would-be tackler, find a hole in the middle, then cut to the right side, pick up a convoy of blockers, and score easily. He was one of the biggest surprises for Jack Pardee's Washington Redskins this year. The top offensive lineman would be Chris Ward of the New York Jets. The Jets, the most improved offensive team in the NFL. For defensive linemen, Bubba Baker of the Detroit Lions. He led the National Football League in sacks, 6'6", 260 pounds. A total of 23 sacks by Baker this year. He is out of Colorado State. At linebackers, 3 rookies who stood out all year. Reggie Wilkes of Philadelphia, Mike Hunt of Green Bay, and Danny Buns of San Francisco. Watch Wilkes in action here against the New York Giants. Rookie defensive backs. Ron Johnson became the first newcomer to break into the Steelers lineup since 1974. Here he is against Brian Sipe and the Cleveland Browns, coming up quickly to make an aggressive tackle. The two top rookie kickers, Timmy Mazzetti of Atlanta, the Cinderella man in the league, and Frank Carell of the Los Angeles Rams. He leads the National Football League in scoring with 111 points. An impressive crop of newcomers for the National Football League in 1978. And next year we hear a flock of outstanding running backs coming into the league. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS after these messages from your local stations. All right, Atlanta and St. Louis are still scoreless, and Irv and I now are going to check into some of the highlights. We're going to start you off with Dallas against the New York Jets. Those of you in New York realize that we've got some bad wind. Look at the light standards at Shea Stadium. It's been gusting up to 30 miles an hour. And Irv, we get Danny White to Tony Hill here.
Of course, Tony Hill's a big play player for the Cowboys and has been since he took over that starting spot this summer.
Tony Dorsett, Irv, then was able to weave his way into the end zone for their first touchdown. That made it 7-0. Here's Matt Robinson and Mickey Schuler, and Aaron Kyle will get it.
You know, Aaron Kyle's made two big plays the first half. He intercepted the pass, and here he picks up this fumble for another turnover.
Now the Giants in Philadelphia, and here's the key man so far, Irv, Wilbert Montgomery.
Wilbert Montgomery scored 76 touchdowns in college at Abilene Christian. He's setting all kinds of rushing records now for the Eagles.
There he is again, in for the score. Missed extra point. It was 6-0. Hey, here's Jaworski going long to Carmichael.
Old alley-oop pass. Carmichael 6'8", get the ball up high. Nobody can get it but Harold, and he does. It's a big play.
Irv, then Montgomery was able to score again. It's now 13-3. But how is Montgomery? You said he was banged up in the first half.
Yeah, he was hit in the face and went out for a couple of plays. He came back, though, finished the second half, and will probably the second quarter, and we'll start the second half.
All right, another game underway. You're looking at San Francisco and Detroit. Here's Steve DeBerg going off to Freddie Solomon. Solomon has been disappointing this year. That time he was able to get it on the second grab. 3-0 Lions leading at the time. DeBerg now to Jack Steptoe. All alone behind the secondary. It was 7-3. DeBerg injured. Scott Bull then in the game. John Woodcock recovered that fumble for Detroit. Here's Irv's Player of the Week from last Sunday handing off. Dexter Bussey goes in. 13-7 now. Detroit leads. And we will send you back to the stadiums where we're watching the games. And, of course, we've got a big doubleheader coming up on CBS. And if time permits, we'll see you afterwards. Have a nice afternoon.